Welcome to the Game Changer Podcast. I'm your host, Elijah Bryant, and we got a special guest with us today. We got Antionette in the building. How you doing?
I'm awesome. How are you?
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So let's bring it back. Let's talk about your upbringing and where you're from.
Okay, so I'm from Miami, Florida, born and raised in the county of Dade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dade County in the building.
Dade County, all day, 305 in the building.
How was that like growing up?
Oh, hustle. Anybody from Miami know you need a legitimate job, a hustle, and a side of fraud to make it. So I think, we grew up kind of rough, but I feel like that's a little bit of everybody's story. I lost my dad real young, so single mom, 4 kids. We were the kids that sold candy at school. Okay, so we were those kids, entrepreneurial minded kids from way back when. Did
your mom get you into that, or did you just be inspired by others doing it? Like, what got you?
You know what? I think it's a family thing. I always saw my family work hard, so we were like, Mom, we need to make some more money. And I don't even think it was like a second thought. We from the Bahamas, so we're American and Bahamian. And there was like a candy lady across the street from the school. And we used to always go to her. We were like, Mommy, we should sell candy at school. And she was like, say less. Costco and Sam's Club up the street. So she used to go buy it and freeze it. And we used to pack our backpacks and sell candy from way back in middle school. That's
lit. You always had the hustler mindset.
Yep.
Did you have any jobs growing up?
Yeah, I got my first job at 15.
What was that? I
used to work at Office Max in the copy department. And my cousin got me the job. So as soon as I was able to work, I started working, single mom. So I wanted to help my mom out with the bills. So I said, Mom, let me work. So at the time I was going to like a magna art high school. I played basketball and I was working. And I was in church. I think I had early black girl trauma syndrome from that time, because I was like, must be perfection. I was always doing something, but it stemmed from, again, wanting to help my mom out and being productive, I think. So yeah.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, I went to the University of Florida, so Florida Gator, and then I ended up having to transfer to FIU, Florida International University, and I worked my way through college.
What did you study in college?
Advertising with a minor in marketing and fine arts. So I actually grew up doing art. I was in magna art programs, and I actually wanted to go to school for fine arts. So like Carnegie Mellon and like Atlanta College of Art and Design and a couple of other art schools. But then I decided to do advertising as an applied approach to art. And the whole time I was in music and singing in church, and I'm in love with the arts. So after I graduated from high school, then I actually started pursuing music. So I don't know how that worked out, but yeah.
Did you go the music route after college, or did you get a traditional job?
No, so in college I was doing work study. So I did work study. So I didn't have time for like a regular job because I was doing work study, and I had my scholarships and Pell Grant and stuff like that. And I was like recording in dorm rooms and stuff with my friends. So I was like, we gonna try out the music thing. So it was just like whenever I got a chance to, and then I started recording on my own. So, got the computer and got my own equipment with my brother and I. So then we were like, okay, we're gonna do music. So we were doing music all through my college years. And when I moved back to Miami, that's when I started doing all the open mics and like anywhere, everywhere, all of the competitions. I'm talking America's Next Top Model. Now I'm aging myself. America's Next Top Model, Diddy Making a Band, America's Got Talent, American Idol, all of them.
Man, you was hustling.
Yeah.
So this is during college?
Yeah, and after college as well. So during and after college.
Okay.
And then
how long was that?
College was 6 years. It took me 6 years to graduate because I was working and going to school. So when I moved back to Miami, I wasn't able to go full time. So then I started waitressing and still like pursuing modeling and music and stuff like that.
So now, you're out of college. You're pursuing this music career. When do you get into real estate, or is there another job before getting into real estate?
Okay, so it was always music. It was so the entire like 20s is music. I'm not giving up on music. We hustling. Okay, we done gone to Universal, the headquarters in New York. Okay, like we were doing all the things. And I actually get nominated for Best Female R&B Artist for the Best in Florida Awards, right? So I end up going to the strip club, which is where the awards ceremony was held. Shout out King of Diamonds. Okay, y'all know. My Miami folks know. So that's where I meet my husband, who was also an artist at the time. And then we ended up getting married. And at that point in time, something clicked in my brain. And I was like, wait a minute. Okay, so now we starting a family and we doing the, you know, the thing, and we're still doing music. But at that time, after I had my son, my credit got messed up because it was like life was happening. Boom. Like, I ain't even gonna tell you about how I shot a music video and my car got repossessed off of it because I was paying for the music video out of pocket. And then they came and got my joint. I was like, I was too turned up. So, you know, life is happening. My credit cards get defaulted. And I'm sitting here like, man, all right, I'm smart enough. I can figure this out. I start looking into credit repair. My older brother, who was always in real estate, he was always telling me, if you worked as hard at real estate as you work at music, you be beast. And I was like, man, nah, man, we over here doing this music, you know. So finally I was like, all right, I think I'm ready. So he's like, all right, let me take you under my wing. So on maternity leave, I start learning about wholesaling. So I'm doing all of the cold calling. I'm writing the mailers by hand because at the time I had no money. I had no money or budget for marketing. So I was doing the skip tracing manually, doing my list on Excel, calling people. So I would just set aside time to call people in between taking care of my son and breastfeeding and stuff. And fixing my credit and sending off letters. So I said, you know, if I can't work during this time, I'm gonna do something else. I'm listening to podcasts, reading books. I'm tunnel vision. Okay, tunnel vision, because I just knew I had to make something shake. You had to get it. Yeah. So I fixed my credit. I ended up getting sued. I had to represent myself in court. All kind of crazy stuff. And this is from wholesaling? No. This is from like the credit stuff, right? And then with the wholesaling, I was finding deals for my brother. So he's doing the deals. I'm you know, getting fees here and there. But I'm like, okay, I want to buy my own property. How long did it take you to get that first deal? So I wasn't doing wholesaling full time, so I would say like a year, because I was basically doing like administrative work, right? Yeah. So, like that. Right. So I was helping him do stuff. So this time I'm calling realtors and stuff like that, but I was passing the deals on to him, right? So after I had did enough, like where I was like, listen, I'm going to real estate meetings. I said I wanted to do my own deal, right? I want to have my own money to do my own deal. This time I'm building out my credit. I'm building my business credit. And I'm trying to fix things. And I'm going to meetings where people are like, I just bought an apartment complex. And I'm like, I want to buy an apartment complex, you know? So like, I'm just in a room with people making hella deals. And I say, you know, I'm going to make a deal one day. So I was basically, here's a little tip. For people who don't have a lot of money, if you increase your skill set, you will always be valuable. You will never be without a job. So there were times where I didn't have the money, but I had the skill set. So I would talk to people and say, hey, I can help you, you know, find a deal. I can analyze deals for you. And I would just network, right? Networking. I didn't know when I was going to really have the cash flow to like buy my own property, but I wanted to provide a service. This is what I understood. If you can solve someone else's problem, you'll always be able to make money, right? That's so true. Right. So at that point in time, I ended up getting a grant. This is around the time of COVID now. I ended up getting a grant for one of my businesses. And I said, I'm not doing nothing with this money. I'm not buying no hair. I ain't buying no new clothes. I'm not going on vacation. I'm going to buy me a property, right? $10,000. It ain't a lot of money. But I knew I wanted to make something shake. I was at a real estate meeting. I heard another real estate investor talking about how they find their land deals sometimes in tax deed auctions. That's all they said. No details, nothing else. They just said, sometimes I find land deals in tax deed auctions. I said, what are tax deed auctions? Runs to Google, follow the yellow brick road, because I tend to hyper focus on things, right? So I find the auction site and I was like, there are properties here being sold by the government for for less than $1,000. Like,
Pennies
why?
on the dollar.
I was like, why aren't people talking about this? So I say, okay, let me just watch it. I'm gonna watch it. Maybe, you know, they're selling. So I watch auctions for like 2.5 months. And I talked to my brother, who again is teaching me wholesaling and stuff. And he's saying, nah, I think you should focus on wholesaling. I don't think you should do tax deed auctions. I said, this math is mathing for me. Like, I really want to get into it. He tells me, nah, I don't think you should do it. I did it anyway. I did it anyway.
You jumped right in.
I jumped into it. I found a land parcel. I didn't know anything about land. Zero. Zilch. Nothing. I just knew that land was cheaper than buying a house. That's all I knew. That's all I knew. And I went with it.
So you bought the land? I
bought the land.
And you didn't even know it was a deal?
I knew it was a deal because I knew how to run comps.
Okay.
I just didn't know the specifics. I didn't know about perk testing. All I knew is that if the land had use, then it had value. So if it was buildable, that's all I was thinking. Is the land buildable? It has value. Then I started running comps. And I was like, okay, so if I could pick up this lot and I use the same wholesaling formula, right? Yeah. I use the exact same strategy. And I said, okay, so I can't bid over this amount. If I want to get it for this amount, you know, and have this much equity in a deal, I can't bid over this amount. Go in the auction. I did research. I had like 10 properties, lose like all of the bids, okay? It was the last page.
Yeah.
I got the last property
piece of land
for $7,500. And I was like, oh, I want one, you know. So this time,
how's the time out? Let's slow down a little bit, right? Because I haven't done tax auctions yet.
Okay.
So how is that process? You just online, you put a price, and you're waiting for somebody to go higher?
So yeah, it's very much so like auctions. Now, mind you, it's all online, but you still get that adrenaline rush. People don't really understand how their emotions can play on them when they're in auctions. That's why I can't even eat on auction days. All I can do is drink my coffee, and I'm just like jacked, because even I've been doing this for like 3 years now. Still, I get like the jitters, the nerves, the excitement, right? And you really have to train yourself to not get into a bidding war. You have to, because you may want the property so bad that you like, I can go more. Now you've overbid on your property. You've taken the equity out of the deal. So it's literally like, let's say you're on the auction page and there might be 100 properties being auctioned. A lot of them are trash. A lot of, and then it really depends on your county, like where you're at and what they're auctioning and stuff, right? So I specifically went to counties that had a lot of land. That was my MO. I say, if I just look for land, I'll be good. I'll be good. And so I go there, and it's like pages and pages and pages. So sometimes it takes hours for it to get to your particular parcel, right? And then when you get it, you know, you can set a proxy, but you can kind of set it so that your bid goes in first, or you can automate it a bit. But I like to be there for the auctions because I want to, like, okay, I want to see what the person, like, and mind you, you can't see anybody. You just know, it'll tell you have the highest bid or you do not have the highest bid. Okay. So you're just going, and I try to do different strategies. So
with this particular deal, right? At 7,500, how long is it at 7,500 till you know that you won?
It's 1 minute. So the timer is going down. And then once you get into that 10-second range, then you like staring, you like, is it gonna close out? And it says finalizing results. You like, I got it.
So now you get this lot for 7,500, right?
7,500, yeah.
What's your ideas? What's your thoughts after that?
Man, after that, I wanted to throw up. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God, I just bought a property, right? So I called my older brother. I said, hey, I just got a property. He said, for real? I said, yeah. He said, how much? I said, 7,500. He said, wait, you bought land in, you know, in Zephyr Hills for 7,500? I said, yeah. He said, what you gonna do? I said, sell that shit. He said, do it. So I said, okay. And I go out. I had already gone out to see the plot of land, but I go out to like really take a look at it. It's overgrown. It's in like, you know, in a place with like a bunch of trailers and stuff. Like, and I was just like, okay, what we gonna do? Cause this don't look good, right? So I was like, okay, we gonna get it cut down. We gonna get it cut down so I can see what I'm working with and take some nice pictures. So immediately I'm thinking, nice pictures, post it, market it, sell it, right? I get somebody to clear the lot for me for like dumb cheap, like $500. I never got this guy to do the work for. I think I killed him. He was a really old guy too. he was real old. I was like, "Are you sure?" Everybody else was quoting me thousands of dollars. He said, "Yeah, I could do it for $500." I was like, "This is not drugs." But at the time, I was broke. So I said, "Okay,
I'm taking this."
Right? I said, "Okay, take it." He clears a lot for me, and like really, we cut it down. There's a bunch of tires in the back, like. This guy definitely paid more in dumping fees than I paid. I ended up tipping him $500 just because I was like, I don't know. Mind you, I don't know how much it costs to clear a lot. I don't know none of that. Yeah. I don't know about impact fees. None of that. Nothing. I don't know. All I knew was that I called the county. They said, yes, you can build on it. And I said, okay, bet.
So how do you find the builder?
So at the time, I wasn't marketing to builders. I put it on Facebook Marketplace. And I said, I got a plot of land for sale. And you know what sold it? A for sale sign. I put up a for sale sign. And a guy who was living in the area said, hey, I'm staying at my uncle's house. And I want to, I want a piece of land so I could put my trailers on it. I was like, cool. Right? Cool. Yeah. And he was like, well, I don't want to, he said, I don't have the full 22,000. But will you take 10,000? And can I do seller financing? Now, mind you, because I was already doing real estate, I was like, yeah, right? So I'm familiar. I said, okay, we can do that. He says, okay, I meet him at the bank. I set it up with my banker. I make a nice binder, experience, make a nice binder. This guy rolls up in all camo, right? Like just, all camo. And then he pulls out a Ziploc bag with $10,000 in it and pulls it out. And he was like, I don't really trust banks. And I was like, me neither, sir. What you like is what I like. Right. So he pulls out the $10,000. I said, oh, you can hand it to the banker. I wanted it to be as professional. Hand it to the banker. She puts it through the money machine and counts it. I was like, this is like a drug deal. Like, this is wild. Signed the contract, and we did, like, he made payments to me, like $575. Mind you, this was just after they had closed the doors to my restaurant. Like, we walked into the restaurant one day and they said, hey, it's this thing called COVID, and go apply for unemployment. We are closed. Go apply for unemployment? I've been working since I was 15. Like, what do you mean? Yeah. So I just got into hustle mode. I started recruiting more credit repair clients, and I was just doing, again, anything to try to, like, make some money. And then I sell this plot of land for $22,000, and this guy pays me $575 a month. In the height of COVID, when they was telling everybody that no one had money. That wasn't my reality. Everybody was buying land. I was like, this is wild. It's like being in the Twilight Zone. After that, I couldn't go back. I was like hooked. I was like, so I just got to keep buying land in the same spot. And so many people were requesting like land for mobile homes that I started looking for land for mobile homes. And I'm telling you, I couldn't keep the parcels like long enough to even... Like, I put them up on Facebook Marketplace.
So you just continue doing the same process?
Yep, flipping the same $10,000.
Are you looking in the same county?
Yeah, so I was looking in the same county and close by counties. So I'm looking anywhere that's like within an hour drive of me, basically. And I was selling to everyday people, like regular people who just wanted to buy land. And I didn't realize there was such a high demand for land until I posted my first property. And I got so many inquiries about it that I was like, well, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. I'm going to just keep doing the same thing. And as I went into different counties, the people who I couldn't sell to that time, I would take their name and number and then be like, hey, but I got another plot of land, and I would just go and find land in the same areas and then sell them. Damn. So, and with tax deeds, like, you own them. Like, you own them outright. In the state of Florida, you own them outright. Like, I was picking up plots of land from the auction on a Tuesday and selling them on a Wednesday. And then don't let me talk about getting your credit card systems together, because this one lady was like, can I pay you with a credit card? I was like, yeah.
Wow. So she's doing, like, seller finance as well?
No, she ended up, like, we did a quick claim deed. Swipey. Swiping no swipe. I was just like, however, when I tell you it happened so fast, it was like.
So what was your biggest deal?
My biggest deal was a lot in Spring Hill, Florida, where I got
Spring Hill.
Yeah, Spring Hill, Florida. It's a nice little nugget, right? And actually, my brother, who's here right now, he said, "Look, this time he was like." He was still working at a job, and he said, "Listen, I got a little bonus money. I could throw some your way." I said, "Okay." I said, "How much you got?" He said, $3,000. I said, "Okay, cool. I could put that towards a lot." I ended up picking up a lot for $1,300.
$1,300.
The opening bid. No one else bid against me, right?
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, I had lost out on all the bids, and he actually said, "Hey, I'm in the auction, and I'm looking at this plot of land, and it look real good." And so I do my research real quick while the other things are being auctioned. I call the county, and the guy was like, "Nah, this is buildable land. This is absolutely buildable land." I say, "Can you send that to me in an email?" Thanks.
Yeah.
The plot comes up, I buy it, $1,300.
And is this a single family zone or?
Yes. Now it was non-conforming, and he told me that it would be non-conforming.
What does that mean?
So non-conforming means that how the property is zoned. So let's say it's zone R1, right? They're going to have a minimum amount of acreage that you can have. That particular lot was not the correct size for the zoning. But he said that because the entire area had been rezoned, it would be buildable. We would just have to apply for a non-conforming permit.
Okay.
So I said, "Can you send that to me in writing?" He said, "Absolutely." And he was like a senior zoning person. I said, "Okay, send it to me in an email." Always get things in writing with the county, because one person will tell you one thing and another person can tell you another thing. Yep. And you out here looking crazy, right? Yeah. So he sent it to me in writing. I bid on the plot, and it actually said wasteland in the legal description.
Oh man.
It said wasteland. And when I talked to him, I said, "Is this wasteland?" He said, "No, this is not wasteland." He said, "The property appraiser site will tell you what a parcel may have been used for in the past, but it doesn't dictate what it can be used for in the future." And then I looked at the future land use code and the zoning, and in fact, it says single family residential. So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna go with it." And I pick it up. I start I clear it off. The neighbors were not happy about that, because another thing about effing around and finding out, I was cutting down trees with no permit. Just out here like clearing lots. Yeah. And then I did not even know that you had to get a permit. I was like, cutting out. Mind you, we was in a really nice neighborhood. Like the houses are like 500,000 up to the millions. Like it was a real affluent community, right? So of course somebody called code enforcement, and they were like, "We're gonna hit you with a $100 fine per day per tree, and we're citing you for."
So you was leaving the trees on the lot.
Yeah. So I was like, whoa. So I ended up having to get I jumped through some hoops to and then I paid a little fine, and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then this lady started harassing me on Facebook because she lived down the street, and I was like, "Ma'am, do you want to buy the lot or not?" Right. So yeah, I'm marketing the property. And this is one of the times when I found out about impact fees as well, because we were in Pasco County, and I didn't realize that across the board, like if you're in Hernando, your impact fees can be substantially less. So I did all of my comps and all that stuff, but my property wasn't selling as quickly as the other ones. So I was trying to figure out why. This one took like 60 days. Yeah. Finally, this lady comes, and she's like, "I was working with a realtor, and I feel like the realtor's buying my properties from under me, and I don't want to lose this property. What do I have to do to get this property under contract? I will Zelle you your deposit." This lady didn't even know my last name. This was from Facebook, right? So I was like, "Sign this contract at $1,000. I'll stop marketing the property." So we do the deal, and then we show up to the bank again, quit claim deed. And she says she's buying the property for her daughters because she wants to be able to build a house, build a house for them when they get older. Her daughters were like in middle school, they weren't even of age. Yeah. So
how much did you make on this deal?
$18,000. This was the most that I ever made on a deal, but I paid I sold the plot for $28,000. I bought it for $1,300. I learned a very expensive lesson about dumpsters and cutting down trees. So when it was all said and done, I made $18,000 on that particular parcel, and it took me 60 days. So I was like, okay. And I had made this outrageous deal with my brother to say, you know, if I use your money, I'll split the profits with you. So I said I split it 50-50. My man's ended up making $9,000. So I was like,
dang, that's dope. He ain't about to do nothing.
Right. I just gave him back his money plus $9,000. So I made $18,000 off of the deal once I had deducted all of my expenses and stuff like that. So again, just out here effing around and finding out. No, I didn't have a plan, and I would, by the time I was like still building out a team, so I didn't have a yard person to do the work for me. So every time I was like looking for someone else, and I was getting like these like $10,000 quotes to clear the lot. So
what if, you know, my viewers, right, they don't have that much money in the bank to buy this land? What can they do?
Don't clear the lot. So in my very beginning stages, I was clearing a lot because I was saying that I wanted to get closer to market price on it. But now I don't clear the lots. I just do it like wholesaling, where I'm just flipping the property as is. But I just, obviously I'm not selling it for the market price, asking price. But
before you even get the lot, what if
you don't have the money, you got to start with the personal credit. So, and I mentioned this to you earlier. I was speaking to a young lady. She had attended one of my 3-day challenges, and she said, you know, I'm really feeling what you're saying, but I don't have the money. She said, I don't have the money. I just invested X, Y, and Z into my other business, and I have 2 businesses, and I just don't have the money. And so I said, well, what does your credit score look like? She's like, I think it's in the, she said, the low 700s. I said, okay, send me your credit report. And she sends me her credit report, and she's sitting on an 800. And I was like, ma'am, if you have good credit, you have money. So she's like, I don't know. And she was real nervous. I said, okay, come sit. We're going to do this on the call. We ended up getting her approved for $25,000, $12,000, 1 pending, right? Just, no, $16,000. $16,000, $25,000. She ended up getting $41,000 approved right then and there. And that's just from credit cards. We're not even talking lines of credit or like fintech companies or anything like that, or loans. Okay, so
now she got the money to buy the land.
Yes.
So now she just got to find the deals.
Right.
What I love about your strategy, hold on. What I love about the strategy is, you know, she's using Facebook Marketplace to sell these deals. This is a free method that every single one of us could do. And then she's finding it on auction. And if you don't have the money, using the personal credit, because you could flip the money you get from credit and make the profits. Right. So, how many of these deals have you done?
Like over 15 deals now. Dang, and then and then we bought our mom a house. So that slowed down my like my speed, because I was doing the project management on that. So I like renovated the entire house. Like I'm there, I'm dealing with the contractor, I'm picking up flooring from from Home Depot, because I wanted the experience of doing start to finish renovations. So we bought our mama house, which we found as a wholesale deal. We invested money from our mom's 401k. I need y'all to pay attention to this, because I'm giving y'all a free game. From our mom's 401k, right? So we were like, Mom, we could invest your money, you know, better, right? So we buy our mama house. We do the renovation. We do a cash out refi. We pay our mom back the money. Now our mom has a house where she doesn't have to worry about, you know, the mortgage. And then we retired our mom. So now between the siblings and I, we pay our mom. So when y'all don't see me with a Birkin bag, it's because
I'm getting them assets.
Right. So we basically took care of home first. Yeah. So we're all really close, and even like my younger brother, he was still working full time. And we recently retired him, and then we do group homes. So when we do pick up homes, we turn them into businesses. Wow. So it's not just like, we have multiple strategies, and once you put that together, once you put real estate together with a business, now you're really in the, like, we playing Monopoly. Right. Like, we playing real life Monopoly.
Cash flow. Yeah. Because that's what we do this for. That's why we're building the active income to have the passive income. Yeah. So what is a challenge that you had to overcome within this business?
Not knowing about land was a challenge. because I was talking to people. They was asking me about perk tests, and I was like, sir, what is that? Like, what are you talking about? So the knowledge aspect of it, but I'm not even gonna lie, I have audacity. I have audacity. Like, I'm the person that when I had poor credit, I used to walk into the car dealership like, you need to sell me a car, so what's up? So one of the I want to say obstacles is knowledge, right? The other one was definitely money. Definitely money, which is why I was like, I'm so hyper focused on credit, because I know what it's like to not have. I didn't even have the ability to go back to work because I was on maternity leave. I didn't have my clearance yet. So not being able to work, not being able to make money, and then having poor credit, it was like
stressful.
That was like the worst. That was the worst. So I really, really implore people to be creative. You have to think outside of the box. It's not just one way to do real estate. And I found that the more creative I got with strategies, the more I was able to make money. So definitely like the knowledge aspect, funding. And then the other thing that I will say kind of was like difficult for me was the learning curve of understanding active income versus passive income and like actually running a business. Like, you say, yeah, I'm gonna start an LLC, I'm gonna run a business, but then you don't think about like taxes, you don't think about like bookkeeping. The money was coming in so quickly. I was like, yeah, we gonna worry about all that stuff later. And then I found my taxes, and Uncle Sam slapped me clean across the face.
Took
I was
30%
like,
of that.
So I would definitely say like running your business like a business. Like, no one's teaching you how to run a business. Everybody like start an LLC. Like, start an LLC and then what? Like, you have to run your business as a legitimate business. And that's really what opens up the door when it comes to like getting business funding and growing. We're not even talking about like private money. Like, I didn't come up with the strategy, but I actually ran out of money on a deal. Ran out of money, and I bought a landlocked parcel because I made a mistake. I got a little cocky. And I was like, yeah, I checked it out on Google. No, baby. The GIS map is your Bible. Right. And I ended up buying this landlocked parcel, and it had like liens on it. It was like a demolished mobile home on it. Like, I just completely messed this up, right? And I was like, I cannot lose my money in this. And so running out of money is a serious thing when, again, we're in COVID. I still don't have a job, right? My money is coming from selling these lots. I have to flip them quick, which is why I came up with like the wholesale strategy or whatever. Like, I got to flip them quick. But then what that also meant was if I had a closing that got pushed back, I'm tight. I can't pay rent. Like, the electric bill is due. Like, I'm tight, right? So I had to learn how to source private money. Like, what does that look like? How do you structure deals for a private money investor? Like, what do you say? How do you ask for money? You know what I mean? So I will say, like, I did run out of money, and that was like one of my, that deal kept me up at night. I
did you end up selling it?
I did end up selling it, and I ended up having to get, like, to bring in other investors to give me the money to clear the lot, because it was so expensive to clear the lot because it was so much debris on the lot. And I ended up getting out of that deal with like $1,000 in profit. But at that point, it took me like 6 months. That's the deal that I like. It dragged me. The landlocked parcel, it wasn't really landlocked. I had to find the parent parcel, find how it was split, get an attorney, get a survey consultant. Like, it just was crazy. But from that one deal, I ended up learning how to navigate the county site so well, that now I can go to any county site. Navigate their GIS map, their public records. If I have access to it, I know how to navigate it now. So that deal dragged me.
Taking your losses and making them, wins.
So after that, I felt like Superman. Like, I could just
do anything.
Right, I could do anything. It took me 6 months to get out of that deal. But I made it, and my investors got their profit. Which, you know what that means? Once an investor invests with you and they make money on that deal, they're gonna want to invest with you again. And that was like the start of a whole new like trajectory. They was like, can I give you 15 this time? I was like,
yeah.
yeah. I can move it.
So, what was one of your proudest moments within this business so far?
Definitely getting our mom in the house. Definitely getting our mom in the house. Like when, like, you know, I'm picking out I watch so much HGTV, it's like insane. I've watched every single house flipping show probably in the US and in the UK, okay? So I was like really looking for an opportunity to put that to use. So when my mom walked in the house, she said, "This is the nicest house I've ever lived in." And I was like, don't cry.
Damn.
Don't cry.
I know that's the best feeling.
You know, so now my mom, she be like, "Listen, y'all just make sure my check's clear." She a little spoiled now, but it's okay. I love it because we grew up, you know, having to work for everything. So my proudest moment is simply the fact that we know our mom is taken care of. If I don't do nothing else in life, I'm good. I know I did something good.
As long as she good, you good.
As long as she good, I'm good. Yeah.
So what would you tell, like, you know, people that's going into college or not sure if they want to go to college and they may want to get into the land flipping with the tax deeds? What advice would you give them?
Man, you know what? I appreciated my time in college, right? But them student loans don't play. So if you have an opportunity to go to school where, you know, you don't have to pay out of pocket, where a lot of times that's just not the reality for Black and brown or minority people, right? So honestly, if you want to get into the business, like seriously, try it for a year, 2 years. Put everything you got into it and see how it works out. If it don't work out, you can always go back to college. You can always do that. But honestly, I am the girl that followed the things that they told us to follow. Like, I wasn't gifted. Like, I would cry if I got an A-. Like, I was like, I need to excel at such a high. Like, right. So I used to sit in front of the class. It's like, no, I want to do this on my own. You know, you got to do it off your own strength and muscle. I ain't even want to cheat. I couldn't even cheat right. The one time I tried to cheat, I had a whole panic attack and just turned in my paper and cried on the way home. Okay. So I did the things they told us to do. I went to college. And when I got out of college, I was working so hard. Like, those student loans started hitting. I was like, man, but I did the things they told us to do. Like, I went to school. I got my degree. And when I got my degree and I tried to get into my field, they were like, yeah, we're going to pay you $21,000 for 40 plus hours a week. And I was like, I waitress and I make more money than that. Like, I was just like,
yeah, that's
I was like, that math is not that math there, right? So I was like, man, you know, I felt cheated. I felt like they lied to me because I was like, look, I am the smart girl, right? Y'all had me in gifted ever since I was legit. Like, I did the stuff y'all told me to do. Like, I subscribed to all of it. And then after I got out and I was working so hard, I was like, this ain't it.
Yeah.
So, you know, I am a fan of learning. Don't ever stop learning. But college is not the only place where you can learn. So take that and internalize that. That's what I would tell people, because a lot of people think like, listen, get a trade. I can't tell you how much I pay electricians, but every time they hit me with that invoice and plumbers, I'm like, hey, boy, y'all right. Get a trade. Get a trade. I feel like our system and how much we have to pay for college is just like outrageous, and they really gonna trap you with them student loans. And what they don't tell you, another credit tip, if you have student loans, you get a trade line for every semester. You in school for 4 years. That's three semesters, right? So you get, by the time you come out of college, you got 16 to 20 trade lines of installment loans. If you default on one of those, which is normally like the entire payment, right? Let's say your entire thing bundled up is, you know, you got to pay 200, 300 bucks. All of them trade lines going negative. Damn. That is a anchor. It is a weight. When I see people, I was like, they really did not explain this to us in school. So if you can go to college without student loans, go for it. Go for it. If you got to get student loans, I'm going to tell you, think about it. Think about it.
Join the land flippers, man.
like,
learn a skill.
Right,
Learn a
right.
skill.
People talk about mentorship like, oh, that's so expensive. Like, listen, if you invest in mentorship, which I've invested in mentorship now outside of my brother, like my older brother, like he got me started and then I invested in more mentorship. You can expect to see like at least a 10 times return on whatever it is that you invest. So, and now I'm just like addicted. I paid like $15,000 for mentorship, and when I talk to some other people, they're like, that's nothing. I paid 50. I paid 150. But now that I know I paid that 15 and cleared 6 figures like 6 months later, I was like, oh. So now I look for good coaches.
Yep.
And baby, whatever your price is, if I feel like you have the answer to what I'm seeking, I'm gonna pay it.
Yep.
I'm gonna pay it because it's gonna you're gonna get a return on your investment every time. The universe rewards progress. It doesn't reward perfection. You don't have to have everything figured out. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to be the best at everything. You gotta get people in your circle that are good at what you're not good at and ask for help when you want to excel. Like, ask for help, people. Get people that are better than you to teach you what they know. And no, they don't have to be the highest level. They could be 2 steps ahead of you. They could be 2 steps ahead of you. But guess what? Your 2 steps is going to change your life. So ask them for help. Like, I don't get it.
I hope y'all paying attention, man, because she's dropping gems for y'all. But, you know, where can these people follow you at?
You guys can follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook at Red Lotus Chick. And that's REDLOTUSCHIC. No K.
All right. And if you guys want to learn how to land flip, make sure you text LAND at 813-687-8867. Game changers.